grit in their eye, wagons full of goods, dreams bound for Miralith. But shadows lurk in silence.
Are we starting in 5 minutes or are we starting now? Hold on.
The horses' hooves were steady on the worn-out trail, through valleys deep and wide, past the silver veil. Bandits in the night, with greed and foul intent, turn the peaceful journey into swift lament. Run, caravan, the bandits close behind. From Winston to Miralith, there's no peace to find. Hold tight to your dreams, ride through the night. In the land of Thera, you must stand and fight. Torches lit the darkness, faces cloaked in dread. Caravan speeding forward, a bounty on its head. The wind whispered warnings through the ancient pines, as Thera's hills echo with those desperate cries. Wheels upon the gravel, hearts pounding wild, whispers of a haven, just another mile. But destiny in Thera is cruel and unkind. Bandits closing in, stealing peace of mind. Run, caravan, the bandits close behind. From Winston to Miralith, there's no peace to find. Hold tight to your dreams, ride through the night. In the land of Thera, you must stand and fight. Wheels upon the gravel, hearts pounding wild, whispers of a haven, just another mile. But destiny in Thera is cruel and unkind. Land is closing in, stealing peace of mind. Run, caravan, the bandits close behind. From Winston to Miralith, there's no peace to find. Hold tight to your dreams, ride through the night. In the land of Thera, you must stand and fight. Miss my immortality to fight, drive from Sandstone in the night. On these clashing shadows blend, glory waits at battle's end. Ancient ruins witness fate, warriors meet at heaven's gate. Echoes of the past that scream, mystic staff a wondrous dream. God's spy star in darkened skies, victory will claim the prize. Rituals and power call, one will rise, the other fall.
What's up, y'all?
Howdy.
Howdy. So the first thing we have to do is make sure that the audio is good because I spent a significant amount of time today with Roar getting my audio set up, and I just realized something that changes everything for me, and so now I'm curious. So can I get a confirmation from chat that that the stream is working and you can hear me and you can hear Burns and it's not like crazy or one's louder than the other or anything like that? Good mics.
It is okay if I'm a little bit louder than Zillin. I think loudness is important often, and if I'm a little louder, I think that's appropriate.
Okay, you could be a little louder than me. Burns is slightly quieter. Okay. So here, let me tell you guys. Let me give you guys a little bit of a overview of what happened today, and the realization that I just had that like I'm a little thrown. Okay, I'm a little off. Burns got with me, not Burns. Roar got with me, and I have a Wave 3 microphone. And there's proprietary software that comes with that called the WaveLink software, and you can actually set it up so that all of your audio sources are different from one another. So I can turn down just you or just me or just the browser or the music or whatever. I have a little wheel on my keyboard on the upper right hand of my keyboard that changes the volume up and down when you just roll the wheel up and down. With these settings that Roar gave me, this wheel does nothing at all. So I can't, like, they asked me to turn you up. I can't. I don't know how to turn you up. I can't. I literally can't turn you. I don't know what to do. You're at maximum according to WaveLink.
What if I'm just talking right here loud into the mic? Is that okay? Is that doable?
Yeah, that's better. That's better. And then you moved. What's fun, I think it's hilarious. Yesterday I got everybody all squared up, and then Vladis moved off to the right, and then yeah, I got squared up here, and you moved off to the left. But you're more better now. Says oof, you are quiet. My microphone is quiet.
No, Squash is saying mine is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever you can do to increase your gain on your end, because at this point I don't know what to do on mine.
It is up 100%.
Well, Harold, let me do this. Oh wait, that won't help either. I mean, I can do this. Okay, I got something. I don't like it, but I got something.
Test.
Okay, try talking now.
Test.
Like, it's crazy. Hey, is Burns any better now?
Is this any better? Testing 1 2 3.
Still quiet.
Same.
Damn. I have you as maxed out as you can be.
Yeah, I've got my. Let's see if I've got a boost going on.
Well, here, let's do this. I'm gonna turn the music off, so that well, maybe they can hear you a little better. And overall enthusiasm. Thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it. I've been noticing you in a lot of the Ashes streams, hanging out with people. That's awesome. I know. We all appreciate all the love and support. Quiet, but if he yells, we are good. Yeah, you might have to speak up a little bit. Me and Roar are gonna have a conversation. Tell Roar what's what. So, Burns, you good over there now? Oh, now you're muted. So bear with us for a minute here, guys. That Burns has not done a whole bunch of live streaming, and I haven't done a lot of guests. So,
bro, should we take this to Discord, or because it sounds like it's kind of an issue.
It is an issue, but there's I cannot make you louder. My audio is all run through this WaveLink program.
Sure.
And wait. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, I thought I found it for a second. I was about to say I'm a genius, but I'm not. I'm not a genius.
If you turned yourself down just slightly, and
Everyone
can
turn their volume up. Yeah.
Yep. I think that's
all right.
That's
So
the only solution.
How about right here? Everybody want to turn their volume up?
Test.
Is it better? Is it a little more even now? Dang it. I was so proud of myself. I thought I had the audio issues all worked out. I worked with Roar all day. Maybe much better, maybe slightly quieter for Zillin. Okay. All right. I'm turning it down. I apologize to everybody. I really did think that we had it going on today. I was like I said, me and Roar worked quite a bit to get here. So
Yeah. Nice. People are saying this works. This is good.
works. J Rock the Great said it's not super bad, pretty decent. All right, appreciate it, J Rock. Thank you,
Cool.
man. J Rock is another one of the Ashes content creators who's disappeared off the face of the planet. So when you're ready, man, like I've just been sitting around waiting for the next J Rock video. You know, every morning I get up, I rush to YouTube hoping maybe you released one last night, but nope, no luck. So, anyway, everybody, Dr. Burns. Live version of Dr. Burns. If you are one of the 3 people in the Ashes community who has been following the game with your eyes closed and your fingers in your ears and living on a cave on the dark side of the moon, the Copium Clinic on YouTube is making, without question, the best damn Ashes of Creation content that is being made right now, bar none. I just turned myself way down, so hopefully this helps with people who are saying I'm too loud. We're making the best. You are making the best content, bar none. And so
Appreciate it, dude. That is high praise. I appreciate that.
I don't. You stepped right over me, like I was nothing. Like
Well, you took a break. You took a break. You'd be
walking and just stepped right over me. It was ridiculous, but no, I really appreciate everything you're doing. I really love that you've come onto the scene. I think you've changed the game a little bit. You've raised the bar. I know that Vladis has said several times about Loreforge that Loreforge kind of forced him to step his game up. And now Burns is the louder one. I can go back.
Let's go.
So I think that you've done that for everybody making videos, not live stream, because Loreforge, it was their quality of their live streams that made Vladis
for sure
up the quality of his live streams. And I think you've done that for videos. I know that every time I go to make a video, I'm like, does this even kind of measure up to what Burns would put out? And if it doesn't, then delete it and start over, you know? Yeah, really, really appreciate everything you're doing over there. And I gotta say, I gotta say this. I think that anytime you and I get on a stream together, it's going to be best in slot. Like that's, I'm just predicting that now. Anytime you and I get on stream together, BIS. Okay?
BIS.
This is what we're doing. It's going to be BIS.
Freaking love it. Well, bro, dude, I still remember I think I was watching Voices of Vera and you were on with Nice and no one else. And you said, you're like, I think I see Dr. Burns in the chat. And I mean, I had, I don't know, a couple hundred subs at the time. I'd done a handful of videos and you reached out to me. You're like, hey, this is, you're going in the right direction. And you gave me a bunch of pointers and tips, especially titling, thumbnail, stuff like that. And that really, really helped. And so, I mean, I've gotten to where I've gotten by receiving help from people exactly like you. And I mean, you especially with the types of videos and then titles, especially when my channel took a step up, it was in large part because of your help. So, I mean, I am a product of my environment here within the Ashes space. So I'm grateful for you, man. You've been a huge help and I appreciate it.
Oh yeah. Awesome, man. I appreciate the kind words. I thought it was funny. I was just thinking about it today, you know, Jamie Chaos, if you guys aren't following Jamie, go do that. Jamie Chaos tweeted out today about how awesome the Ashes of Creation content creator community is and how we all help each other out and stuff. And then during today, I had about an hour-long call with Thogly where I was helping him with YouTube stuff. And then I had about an hour's worth of time with Roar, split up across several phone calls, but where he was helping me with audio stuff, and then I'm jumping on and streaming with you. So it's very true. The Ashes content creator community is like, we all help each other out and doing the best we can and want to, help everyone get better. The rising tide lifts all ships is what I say.
Yeah, exactly. And why not? I mean, it's such a small space right now. Why not all help each other get better before a million other eyes come on the project?
Yes. And we're right there.
Yeah,
We're right
seriously,
there,
man,
Burns.
we are close.
Like September 78 is coming very soon. It's only 4.5 months away. And so then that's still technically Q3. So we're good. So yeah, we're almost there. So what I wanted to do today, I've been having this plan about, I want to bring on different content creators and have them come on these night shows, maybe Sunday or Monday nights. And I want to I don't want to just be like, we're going to wing it for an hour. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm good at that. We could do that all day. But what I want to do on these streams is I want to challenge those creators with their own thought processes. Kind of like I did with Vladis last night. We talked about weapon combos, and I was trying to get him to see maybe something a little different. So we were coming at, with that, I wanted to challenge him. And so today, as part of that, we're going to watch 2 of your videos back to back. Okay. And they're going to be we're just going to blaze right through them. No big deal. Not going to stop them. Not going to pause them. Not going to comment on them. Might have a little comment in between the 2.
Sure.
That's it. And then we're going to talk about those 2 videos kind of in combination with one another, and maybe see if maybe you missed something.
Impossible, but yeah, okay.
That's impossible. It's impossible. All right. I'm not pausing this. We're watching it all the way through. I am not pausing this. All right. So let me make sure I put the right button here. There we go. Now my suspicion is this is going to be just stupidly loud. So you know what? Let's go ahead and turn it down right now. If this needs to get any volume adjustments, y'all let me know.
I think I need to mine some halcyon-ite.
It's pronounced halaconite, but have fun.
What the f?
Back so soon.
I forgot my lunch. You bots steal our resources. I'm gonna send you back to hell where you belong.
This intro took half as long as the video did.
Botting is a huge problem in MMOs. I'll talk about why that is and what Intrepid's doing to mitigate that on this week's visit to the Copium Clinic. It starts with 3 letters, RMT, real money transaction, a process where you turn your real money into in-game gold. Once these people have their newly purchased in-game gold, they'll buy materials and items in-game to make them stronger than you. It's a game-breaking mechanic and it's super easy. You go to a website, find your game, find your server, pick which seller you want and the method they'll use to deliver your gold. How do these people get their gold to sell? In New World, a lot of it was duping, exploiting errors in program code which allows items to be duplicated several times over. Then it became botting. Bots come in a few different forms. First, there's people who get scripts to run their player around while they're AFK. So you pay for the software, it runs predetermined routes and either kills mobs or harvests materials. When you come back to your computer, you've either leveled up or have an inventory full of goods. Then you can sell these goods for in-game gold and then sell that gold on a website. This is bad yet, but it becomes a game-breaking issue when it's widespread.
Classical music in my videos again.
This video allegedly shows hundreds of bot accounts harvesting herbs in WoW. Whether it's real or not doesn't matter because it's plausible. The top comment says it all. The issue is that these bots flood the market with harvestable resources, plummeting their prices. So if a player tries to harvest anything, they're wasting their time because harvesting this stuff pays pennies and you'll never out-harvest a bot. What I hate most about bots and RMT is how immersion breaking they are. You're taken out of the game and reminded everything you're doing has a dollar value. If you can spend $10 to get the same amount of gold playing the game for an hour would take, your time has just been valued at $10 per hour. If there's no RMT, your time is priceless. Let's talk about what Intrepid's going to be doing to stem the tide of botting. Most obvious answer?
It's simple. We kill
the bots. This guy posted a video about a bot who's always fishing at his favorite spot. You can directly kill him, so we
Running.
spent 10 minutes training a mob onto him. It eventually worked, but wouldn't it be better if you could just kill the bot outright? People complain about the aspect of being killed in the open world, but in this context, it's a godsend. I can't tell you the number of times a bot would be sitting on my orichalcum node in New World when I went to go harvest it. If I could have just killed it, the problem would have ended there. Ashes will have the corruption system, so we'll have to see what balancing is like and how many bots we could kill before we go corrupt. It'd be smart to wait until the bots are about to turn in the materials to the node warehouse and then kill them so you get all the mats they collected. In poorly planned games, harvestables have designated locations where they always respawn after a certain predictable amount of time. Another reason botting won't be as bad in Ashes is because harvestables will have variable locations and times.
We want to be able to spawn stuff randomly, and we want to put it in places in the world that will make people, travel and bolster up our local player-to-player economies. Have people, kind of actually be out in the world looking for stuff and not standing in the same place waiting for a tree or a flower to respawn over and over again.
And some resources can be depleted.
Those will be then depleted and they will randomly spawn elsewhere.
Seasons will add another variable where certain resources aren't available all the time. So will the day-night cycle. Okay, what if a bot runs around grinding mobs? In other games, this is a problem because the mobs will drop small amounts of gold and that adds up over time. In Ashes, you don't get gold from mobs, you get glint. You have to turn in that glint to get gold. I know there are sophisticated enough scripts which could do this. The issue for the botters though is that this is a poor gold source relative to what human players can do with caravans. If you turn your glint into commodities, then caravan them farther away, the payoff is huge. It was a 5.3 gold multiplier for a 23-minute caravan trek from Winstead to Mirrorlith in the caravan livestream, and they kept stopping. The biggest paydays will come from distant caravans. Botters have to make a good return on their investment to keep up with their overhead. They have the cost of their computer hardware, electricity, internet, and monthly sub fees. With monthly sub fees, regional pricing is something cheaters rely on. It's where game studios drop the price of sub fees relative to the wealth of the region. The cheaters use a VPN to someplace with devalued currency. In the MMO space, it's popular to use Turkey because the Turkish lira isn't worth much. Regional pricing makes sub fees pennies there, so their overhead is that much less. In fact, people on the Ashes forums are already talking about it. Here's a post asking if they can use the Turkish lira to pay for their subscription. Once again though, Trepid is ahead of this.
Price harmonization will only occur when the servers are segregated from different territory servers. So for example, a Brazilian player, if they were a subscription based, they would have to pay that Harmony price for the Brazilian servers.
So if you're paying a Turkish lira adjusted sub fee, you can only play on the regional servers where Turkey is. The typical punishment in an MMO for botting is a temporary ban. This is a favorite tactic of lazy developers because they don't care about the details enough. They're not actually paying attention to what's happening in their games. Hiring in-game GMs is too much money and effort for these studios. They have mass reporting metrics, so they rely on the number of reports instead of actually taking the time to investigate claims. The temporary ban is the go-to punishment because if they screw it up and wrongfully punish someone, their screw-up isn't perpetual in the form of a permanent ban. It's like giving someone prison time as opposed to a death sentence. The problem is a slap on the wrist isn't enough to actually deter botters. It just delays them a few days. Steven says this about punishments for cheating in Ashes of Creation.
Certain infractions are immediate and automatic, bans.
Both, to make sure that we have stringent practices from a CS from a customer service perspective to enforce our rules and to make sure that players are aware if they partake in this, there is a huge risk in doing so. It's not going to be a slap on the hand. It's not going to be we told you once, we told you twice, we told you 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Okay, we're just taking some gold away, that kind of thing. We have got to ensure that it is feared to do those things.
Getting to max level in Ashes will take about 250 hours. You'll be able to make more money at max level than you would be as a lowbie. Getting your account banned is huge. 250 plus hours vanished in the blink of an eye. It's fine to talk a big game, but what are they actually doing to enforce these ideals?
That's what
and then one other thing that's super important is, in my experience as an MMO player, I really hate the fact that not a lot of companies invest in active GM teams, GMs who are present on the server day-to-day basis and are playing with the population and are there to actively enforce and moderate what can be a major nuisance from these gold sellers and or botters. So one of the pledges, in Ashes of Creation, and something that is a personal interest of mine, is making sure that the player base is active GM force that are present on the servers and are participating in the community.
Because you know that Ashes has active GMs.
GM stands for Game Master. It's when a developer hires someone to walk around the server keeping an eye on what's going on. The reason most MMOs don't have these anymore is because they cost money. Intrepid has shown a willingness to shell out cash for GMs in order to enforce the rules. They also have a volunteer GM system, which we don't know much about yet. One thing I've been impressed with for a while is Intrepid's data gathering apparatus.
Now, we do have already built into the game, on the outset, is essentially behavioral metrics. So, in the game, as a player does normal things and they acquire normal gold, that's all good and well. But if there starts to be item IDs that appear on the player account that are out of the norm, like either a large amount of gold or, significant legendary items,
like
what
thresholds.
that does in the back, exactly, what it does in the back, it flags the account for view so that we can take a look at where did this item come from? Is it coming from a known gold seller or a flagged bot or whatever, and then we investigate. So we're going to be pretty hard on the ability for players to subvert the natural economy systems by RMTing or botting.
So they'll actually be able to track all this data. Who's got an unusual amount of gold? How quickly do they get that gold? In that clip with Asmongold, Steven says known gold sellers. Thought that was weird. Why wouldn't they just outright ban the known gold sellers? And then I realized they're going to have these people functioning normally, running around selling their gold to people, but they're just going to ban whoever buys from them. Steven essentially confirms this in a Discord post. A honeypot is a type of trap where someone is ensnared by something enticing. As word spreads on the server of people getting banned for buying gold, it won't matter how many sellers there are. People will be too scared to buy. Having a developer care about this is amazing. Part of how they can do this is they've baked it into the programming.
What precautions will be taken against cheating, exploiting gold sellers' bots? From day one. Literally from day one. From day one, we have discussed and already have implemented, which will be present in Alpha Zero, actually. We're testing those systems. Anti-cheating, anti-botting software, just general review of player activity as flags. For keeping an eye on what should be normal interactions from the player's end.
Yeah. That clip was from 2017. This isn't just an afterthought. It's not like Intrepid is a bunch of mobile gamers who work part-time making MMOs. These guys are serious gamers. Even Margaret, their director of communications, is a serious gamer.
She's a little killer.
Get killed, bitch.
Quaternion Slurp, aka Corey, is one of the Ashes devs, and he pops into Ashes live streams all the time to discuss gaming in general. Most recently, he was in the Voices of Era podcast on Is There No One Else's Twitch. He was talking about other PC games, and he knows them. Steven hires gamers. If he didn't, it'd be like making a fishing rod if you've never fished before. You understand the basic concepts, but get a lot of the little details wrong. What's the bail arm for? How much line is on the reel? Etc. I talk very highly about a game I haven't played yet. Experienced MMO players who actually take the time to learn about what Intrepid is doing almost all have the same reaction. Intrepid's passion is palpable. As we make our way through 2024, our patience is going to pay off with Alpha 2. People who scoffed at Ashes earlier will become ardent supporters. One of the ways Intrepid wins over the gaming player base is with the intense level of detail they're tackling problems like botting and RMT early in the development process. One more thing before we end. Narc recently reacted to one of my videos.
We don't have to watch this part if we don't want.
Apparently.
Yeah, we don't gotta watch Narc. We can move on from that. We can move on from that.
So, I mean, it was just bonus.
So that video went crazy. How many views do you have on that video now?
I think like 35,000, which
35,000. Do you know how many people have a single video that's got, I would say more than 20,000, but definitely more than 30,000 views? That's an Ashes of Creation video. Do you realize the short list you're on?
Elite Company, I think. With I think you've got one that's pretty high. Raiden, I don't know. Do you remember Raiden? He's got like that video.
Raiden. There's a guy named Baird who has a pretty big one as well. I have one. Oh, obviously Narc has a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty elite company, man. Like you're hanging out with the, and you've been doing this for like, I mean, what you formed your YouTube channel like 12 minutes ago or something like that.
I mean, so compared to you, yeah.
you just got started just a few minutes ago, and so yeah, that's crazy, man. 35,000 views. What was that? Talk to me a little bit about what that was like with the when you were watching the that upward trend arrow just like look like the Laffer curve and just go straight up. Like, what was that like for you as a content creator?
It was wild, man. Because so the videos leading up to that, I had been changing my thumbnails, I've been changing my titles, and I've been tightening up a lot of kind of getting my process set. And so the video before that, I think right now is sitting at like the Copium Clinic video right before my botting one. I think it's somewhere around 7,000. It was, I think at the time though, I think within the first week it hit 3,000. And then I was like, hey, picking up a little steam here because my other videos just had a few hundred views. And so then with the botting one, I was like, okay, yeah, I don't know if this is internal. Oh man. Sorry. What? My, hold on. I got to fix my cam in a sec. We'll be camless for a sec. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. We just can't see you.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Anyways, so yeah, my with the botting video, I had refined a bunch of processes and stuff, and so I was like, okay, yeah, this isn't a super discussed topic, but in doing research for all my videos, I was like, I think I got a lot of material here, and so I put it all together. The video itself probably took 20 hours, and then the intro probably took itself another 15 hours to make. And so I was like, all right, let's throw it out there and see. And then the night I put it out, and then the next morning I remember rolling over and looking at my phone and seeing that I think it was over 1,000 views just overnight, which was fresh for me. And I was like, holy crap, this is crazy. So then and then it just kept going, and it just didn't stop. I mean, for weeks it just kept getting more and more views and more subs from that video. So it was a fun experience.
So I'm right there with you, man. Like, it's crazy how like what that feels like, the especially for like you're like, like I said, you started your video 12 minutes ago, and then you had a hit video like 8 minutes ago. And so I had been making content for like 2 years when I made my video that got the 40,000 views. And
here's the thing though, I knew my success wasn't always going to be like that. I'd watched Raiden's video and he fizzled out afterwards. I don't know if it was because he said to himself, oh hey, if I'm not getting this many, like, I'm going downhill. I anticipated my next videos not doing as well because that's kind of the nature of YouTube, and I was glad I had that feeling going into it.
Right.
Yep.
No, and there's going to come a time where our videos can all go crazy and get 40,000, 50,000 views, and actually it's not far away. But yes, right now it is very limited on what we can get for sure. But it was just crazy for me that I released that video, and I forget the original title, but the original title of the video was something like, talking about the ashes of creation being, I can't remember. It was a pretty terrible video title. And I was talking to Fane, and Fane was like, if I would made that video, I would title it something like Breaking Down the Ashes of Creation Scam. And I'm like, that's a brilliant title. And so I've changed the video to that, and you can literally see on the curve, even now, that it's really long time. And so that curve tends to flatten out over time. You can still see the moment where I made that change, and all of a sudden it just went up from there. So the video titles are
interesting.
And then yes, just like with you with the video that we're talking about, your botting video, it wasn't the Ashes of Creation community who made it go crazy like that, because that's like that community is like what, 6,000 to 8,000 people probably. Like it's not it's not a huge number. So it's when you bring in people from the MMO community in, and that's when they go crazy. So okay, so let's watch this second video, and then we'll have a little discussion. Okay,
I'm going to turn off my cam for this part and just work a few things while it's playing.
Yeah, okay, you do that. All right, here we go.
Waiter, where's my food?
I'm sorry, sir. You ordered the mythical special. It
has to cook for a specific amount of time. Otherwise, there are dangerous magical content.
Don't lecture me. It's ready now.
Hey, table 5's freaking out.
Again? Doesn't he know that they're...
Yep, I told him. He wants it now.
Okay. Order up.
Here you go.
Took you long enough. Rah, rah, rah. Told you it was ready.
I'll go get Cleric Burns.
We're a few months away from testing Ashes of Creation. With the amount of content they have, this would traditionally take years. Intrepid's been setting up for this though, and it'll likely change the way MMOs are tested from here on out. When I was a kid, I remember playing Legos in the living room as my dad was watching an old Charlton Heston movie, The Agony and the Ecstasy. It's about Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel. I thought it was pretty boring, but a recurring trope in the movie was when the Pope would ask Michelangelo, "When will you make an end?" And he'd respond, "When I'm finished." It became a joke for us. Someone's in the bathroom for too long. When will you make an end? In a recent episode of Bespoke, I asked other Ashes creators how long they thought Alpha 2 would be. My surprise question this season was, how long is too long, do you think, for Alpha 2? The question itself is pretty loaded, but hey, that's what Bespoke is. A lot of date ranges have been thrown around from 9 months to 6 years. Let's look at what testing for other MMOs has been. Historically, games have closed and then open testing periods. The closed tests are where people, usually under NDA, play the game, or they're paid testers to find bugs and exploits as a job. Open tests are where there's no NDA and usually have a larger testing population. WoW's main testing lasted 7 months. Guild Wars 2 testing was similar to that. Final Fantasy XIV's initial testing, also about the same. WildStar had several stages of testing between 2011 and 2013, which added up to well over a year. Crowfall had multiple testing periods, which also added up to more than a year. According to some people, the entire development process of Black Desert Online took
a year and a half. 2 years technically start to finish.
The process was actually much longer. In fact, their first beta test was 2 years before their first regional launch. Didn't even release in the US until the following year.
The integer 5 is lower than the integer 7.5.
After the direction change, New World's testing lasted 9 months, but anyone who played at launch would tell you they were the real beta testers. During New World's testing, the entirety of the content was only available for a month and a half at the end of their closed period. The 2 open betas lasted less than a week. This is likely because they didn't want everyone to see their lack of content. Throne and Liberty's testing has been interesting to watch. The game is released in South Korea now, but they're still having closed NDA testing here in the US. Seems strange. Their testing has been very fragmented, with their cumulative testing of this build lasting several months. We know Ash's testing won't be short.
As we go forward throughout Alpha 2, because it is going to be a long one, and it's not similar to Alpha 1 where, you know, we were up for like a month and then we're down.
So longer than the month-long Alpha 1 test, but will it last 6 years? I mean, Intrepid could make it last 10 years if they want. I don't think they will, though. I'll talk about how Intrepid's revolutionizing testing in a sec. First, let's look at what drawing out the testing for Ashes of Creation could be like. If testing lasts 1 year before launch, I think that'd be fine. I'm sure there'll be a spike of players at the beginning with a steady decline after. Intrepid's already planned this, but they're going to release new content over time during Alpha 2. This achieves 2 things. First, it allows piecemeal testing. With the other interconnected systems still engaged, it'll be tested fully. Secondly, it brings back testers. You know how everyone wants to see certain things showcased in the monthly live streams? Well, they're saving them so they can keep decent tester levels during Alpha 2. Maybe a few months in we see augments, then a few more months go by and we see naval, and then social organizations, the stock market, and so on. Hopefully this trickle of new content will keep people interested and we retain some amount of testers. The side benefit of testers dropping, though, would be testing server merges. People inherently aren't going to be as invested in their Alpha 2 characters as they would be at launch because of the character wipes. A lot of people think not everything could get tested in 1 or 2 years. I think it could, just not by you, alone. Each server will have different nodes that get developed. That'll allow for different story arcs, dungeons, and raids to open up as a result. Based on what I know of the game, I'd be surprised if a single server is able to rotate through all the different node possibilities to open up every bit of content by themselves. Collectively, however, I'm sure the 150,000 plus players will be able to do that. The issue with Alpha 2 lasting too long is that there wouldn't be enough testers to adequately get through everything. Sure, some people would stick around, but not the average player. Intrepid's goal per server is 8 to 10,000 concurrent players.
Yeah, we're aiming for between 8 to 10,000 concurrent users on a per world shard basis.
So that's concurrent players, meaning on at the same time. In order to achieve that, you need way more than 8 to 10,000 total players per server to ensure that you're experiencing max concurrency. For launch, they plan to have a cap of 15,000 players per server, but they'll increase that number as time goes on to somewhere around 50,000. If Alpha 2 is to test and get an accurate picture of the game systems in action, the servers will need to be full. If we're on our 4th year of Alpha 2, I'd be surprised if there's a single server they could get to half max concurrency. Another pitfall Ashes would run into if Alpha 2 lasts this this long is an outdated engine. Unreal Engine 6 is already being planned and worked on. Epic CEO Tim Sweeney said this about UE6. Not in 2024, but it's coming. They're going to incorporate their programming language Verse into the next game engine. Unreal Engine 4 came out in 2014, and Intrepid started migrating Ashes to Unreal Engine 5 in 2021. That's a 7-year gap. 7 years after 2021 is 2028. That's only 4 years from now. Steven's no dummy. He knows that there's a finite period of time when his game can release and be relevant to establish a brand.
We can observe what is this almost window of opportunity to present a next generation title that is utilizing a next generation engine like Unreal Engine 5, that has the visual fidelities that we are showcasing as part of our monthly live streams, and you guys can see the quality of the artistic development that our team has, and that espouses the types of design systems and philosophies that Ashes of Creation espouses.
Another reason I don't think Alpha 2 lasts 4 to 6 years is the financials. We get it, the project is funded to completion. Intrepid needs people testing and giving feedback for Alpha 2 to be worth it. They spend tens of millions of dollars every year just to exist. They have about 200 employees. Salaries range from $55K for an associate game designer to $187K for a senior engineer. They have health insurance fully covered, vision, dental, and 401k matching. One thing I thought was interesting on their job openings was the statement on bonuses, a significant annual bonus structure. These could be performance-based dollar figures, but I think it's smart for new game studios to give their employees incentives for the game's success. Maybe it's a monetary bonus or some kind of stake in the company as stock or stock option. I don't know the specifics, but this is smart. About 60 miles north of Intrepid is Amazon Game Studios, Orange County. Former AGS employees have detailed that they don't have performance-based bonuses, but instead are awarded stock predicated on time with the company. Unlike Intrepid, Amazon is so huge that their stock won't be affected if their game sucks. This creates a bad culture where as a developer you're just doing whatever you can to stay there longer. Apparently it's created a bunch of yes men where people won't say what they actually think. You're not getting the best out of your employees this way because they're not incentivized to make the game good. They're incentivized just to keep their job. In a creative endeavor like making an MMO, you want people to be invested and feel like they have stake in what they're making. You can hear that from the Intrepid developers during the monthly live streams.
So we have a really awesome system that the designers have access to.
Steven allows his team to have such buy-in that they have to say this before their meetings.
At the start of every design meeting, I make each of our designers go through and say, I am not my design, and my design is not me.
I love that. And clearly,
That's
they're
so
allowed
good.
to have different opinions than Steven. These people are passionate about their game. Back to the finances. It doesn't stop with the salaries and benefits, though. Employers have to pay taxes on the wages they pay their employees. Since Intrepid is based in California, which is a higher tax state, they have to pay about 17% for their payroll. With benefits and payroll taxes, Intrepid is spending more than $100K for their lowest paid employees, with the upper being around $250K. For 200 employees, that puts them somewhere between 20 and 50 million per year. That doesn't take into account other operating costs like office space rental, equipment, utilities, etc. I'm not saying Intrepid will rush the game launch when tester numbers get too low. I'm saying they've planned for this and have a financial understanding that Alpha 2 can't cost them several $100 million. I understand Alpha 2 won't just be testing, they'll be developing in the background too. But will they be willing to shell out $200 million for just a few thousand remaining testers in year 4? If the game takes several more years of additional development time and testing, we run into another financial issue: inflation. Back when WoW launched, $15 was worth a lot more than it is now. The general consensus is that $1 in 2004 is now worth $1.66. If you compare that to the $15 sub fee, it'd be equivalent to $25 now. Pretty crazy, right? What's even more crazy is that the Federal Reserve has caused most of this inflation within the past few years by creating unprecedented amounts of new money. If we're finally testing naval content in 2033, Intrepid will either have to increase the sub fee or find new ways to make money. Ashes isn't a next-gen MMO just in terms of game design, their testing will be too.
More granular data.
I'm a data junkie.
We love data.
Data. More granular data.
The use of data analytics has been expanding over the past couple decades. It evolved in the financial world and spread to everything else, including sports. Some data analytics have made it into MMOs, but in a very rudimentary way. For example, most developers can tell you the game's overall monster kills, how long it takes their players to run a dungeon, player deaths, and sometimes quest lines run. But that doesn't tell you much. So how's Intrepid doing it differently? Let's look a little
deeper.
What's hard about data analytics is that you kind of need to bake them into your foundational coding. It's like planning the questions you're going to ask someone in a future conversation. Developers often use a tagging system that they can query later. Trying to add metrics for evaluation after you've already developed your foundational coding can be messy. It's almost like you need to launch a game to understand which metrics you should follow. Ashes of Creation Apocalypse was just that for Intrepid. It wasn't a roaring success critically, but it didn't need to be. What was important about Apocalypse was this.
What APOC offered us was also the ability to test our data gathering mechanics, having the design logs implemented into test sessions that we can actually pull.
I want you to think for a second what types of things an MMO developer could feasibly track. In addition to the ones I've mentioned previously, maybe weapon selection, which abilities people choose, overall damage someone puts out, maybe. Just in terms of combat, here's what we know that Intrepid is following.
Information on, like, what weapons are used the most and how do players die and whatnot.
We see every single shot every single player makes. We know every ability activation. We know whether those shots landed or missed. We know how much damage they did.
Okay, that's pretty dang good. Getting data on not only which abilities you use, but every shot you take and if those shots hit is impressive. Jeff Bard then says this.
I've never worked on a project where we have this kind of data before.
He had worked on EverQuest 2, PlanetSide, and Star Wars Galaxies. From very early on, Intrepid realized that monitoring player activity would be crucial to balancing and improving their MMO. Traditionally, if a certain ability or build were super overpowered, it would take the community collectively complaining about it to the devs for months in order for them to fix it a few months more down the line. With robust data gathering, however, the devs know what's OP before the community does.
It helps us identify the weapons that are too powerful, the abilities are too powerful, or the converse of that, right?
There
when
might
things
be
are not
some that
powerful
people
enough.
play tested in Apocalypse that were like.
Obviously, this will be used as an adjunct to player feedback.
The Alpha 2 is going to give us a lot of feedback, both from the players as well as data-driven, that we're going to utilize in order to improve the design features.
The numbers only tell part of the story, but Intrepid's maximizing their use of data analytics. It doesn't stop with combat, though. Another essential area of their data collection is with the economy. The ability to track gold through the economy is huge.
Now, we do have already built into the game, on the outset, is essentially behavioral metrics. So, in the game, as a player does normal things and they acquire normal gold, that's all good and well. But if there starts to be item IDs that appear on the player account that are out of the norm, like either a large amount of gold or, significant legendary items,
Like
what that does in
thresholds.
the back, exactly, what it does in the back, it flags the account for view so that we can take a look at where did this item come from? Is it coming from a known gold seller or a flagged bot? Or
Aside from catching cheaters, having complete visibility of your MMO's economy will tell you a lot. What people value, what their goals are, certain trends so you can predict the future of the market. I know you've experienced MMO expansions that completely flipped an economy on its head. More on that in another video. In order to have a reactive world, the server needs to store data and react accordingly. A bunch of people questing in an area, the node gets experience and levels. People harvesting too many resources in a region, the server...
All right.
Let me turn the cam on.
That's enough. You can turn the camera back on. For anybody who's just showed up to the stream and wasn't here or at the beginning when we're having all the audio issues, I cannot turn Dr. Burns up any louder than he is. It's an issue on my end. I apologize. There's just nothing that I can do about it, unfortunately. That's why I turned myself down, turned the whole stream up. I apologize. I assure you, I'm going to have a conversation with Roar. me and Roar are going to fix it for sure. So first off, those are two awesome videos. I think it's funny. Somebody, it was J-Rock commented that those two are his two favorite Dr. Burns videos.
Thanks, J-Rock.
And yeah, and I would suspect that a lot of other people would agree with that as well. Only thing I will say about that video, you had like a montage of Bespoke going on in there. And I don't really know why, but I just feel like season 1 of Bespoke was better. It was just a better season. And you didn't do a montage of season 1, you did a season 2. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, one was just better for some reason.
Dude, I had 200 subs when I asked you to be on season one,
really
and you
have
said
200
yes.
subs?
At 200, I had a few hundred. It wasn't. I really didn't have many, and you were more than willing to come on there, which I appreciate.
Yeah. And I had a good time. And when you're ready to do another season and you need somebody, you can always contact me.
Appreciate it.
I'll put my tinfoil hat back on again for you. So let's talk a little bit about these two videos in conjunction with one another. In the first video, you talked about a bunch of different ways that Intrepid could catch bots. Or ways that we could combat bots in general.
Yeah.
The ability, our ability to just kill them, game masters being in game, and there were a lot of different things in there. And then there was that section where he says known gold sellers, and you go in and you explain that the honeypot theory, and you want to catch all the people who are buying, and it's kind of like what the FBI does or whatever, with the way that they like use people to catch the bad guys or whatever.
The sexy FBI agents to go catch the bad guys. Yep, got it.
Yeah. However, in the second video, you make a really concerted point to talk a lot about data gathering and how much data gathering that Intrepid has. And when I combine that, I think about the honeypot theory that you gave out there, and it doesn't carry water for me, because I'll give you an example. In Star Wars: The Old Republic, a game that everybody knows, that was my game for several years.
Yep, I played it.
They did this. They did this. I forget exactly what happened. They did a patch on December 18th or something like that. Which when I tell you what happens next, you're going to be like, are these people stupid? And the answer is yes. They did a patch on December 18th. They patched the game. They made changes to the game and went on fucking vacation.
Oh.
For 3 weeks. For 3 weeks. They literally patched the game, said, okay, it's patched. Everybody bye. I'll see y'all on January 14th or whatever. Oh my God. So people figured out somehow, and it's crazy to me how fast people figure shit out, that there was an item that you could buy in the store that you could buy for 100 credits, but it sold for 1,000 credits. And the economy exploded. The inflation was crazy. And what I know some people who abused the shit out of that deal. And what they did was, because they were scared of getting caught and they were scared of what would happen if they got caught and losing the value of their money, they started selling
separate accounts, right?
What?
They use separate accounts, right? They started a new account and fed that.
No.
Oh,
no.
That would have been smart.
They were selling or buying all kinds of stuff off the GTN, the Galactic Trade Network, the auction house for you WoW people. They started just selling or buying stuff constantly, because now the money that they cheated is in somebody else's hands. So now what's BioWare going to do about that? Because now I got the value of the money, or the object that I wanted, but now the actual money itself is in somebody else's hands. They sold something that they worked hard for, or potentially bought with real money. So what do you do about that? And that's what I see happening with this type of system, with a honeypot system, where they let bots just go crazy, and then you want to try to catch the buyers, but the buyers buy the money and then immediately start buying stuff from other people, and now the money is in the economy, and you can't suck it back out. It's already in the economy. Even though you got the cheater, the money's in the economy already, unless you can catch them before they do that, which maybe they can. But so I'm wondering if you ever made the connection of, they have a crazy data gathering apparatus. They could just ban bots immediately. Bots have, their things are done on certain timers and all that stuff. If you have a crazy data gathering operation, shouldn't you be able to spot a bot damn near immediately, just ban them and get them out of there? And did you ever think of that when you were making those two videos?
You ever watch? I'm sure you've watched Batman, right?
You know what? I hate Batman.
Oh well, it's not very American of you, but
I think it's extremely American of me.
Okay, so you don't like Batman.
Which Batman you talking about?
I'm talking about the Christian Bale.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I guess even the comics and Justice League and stuff. So Batman instills fear in the hearts of criminals. He doesn't just, stop every criminal. He makes it so people don't even think about becoming criminals in the future. And if you allow this to happen, you allow some people to go and think that they're buying some gold in game from known gold sellers, and then your friends, your guildies, people on your server are being made an example of. It's over. The market to buy gold is done, because do you remember when on the mayoral showcase they went up on top of that hill, and in the back there was a little stockades. They are going to hang cheaters there. They're going to make an example of players and be like, oh yeah, this guy right here. Like they'll have their freaking avatar hanging right there. Oh, am I allowed? Okay, sorry.
No. You do fine. I'm turning you down a little bit. I just hit the little mouse wheel thing that makes the volume go up, and the volume started going up, and I'm like, what the hell?
Let's
so now
go.
I can hear you. The stream can hear you. I'm gonna raise mine up just a little bit too, so that we're relatively even, and now you guys can adjust your volume.
So they are going to kill the gold buying by killing the desire for it. There's not even going to be, people aren't going to want to risk it, because it's going to take so hard. It's going to take so long to level in Ashes that if you risk the gold buying, the consequence. You have seen the consequence. Mm-hmm. You've seen it hanging there by the town center. And so I think they could. I think it would be less effective if with their data gathering apparatus, they just said, hey, bot, and removed them. Instead, you're striking, and that's treating more of the symptom. If you treat the actual problem of the even idea that, oh, hey, I can do this. I can buy gold outside with my actual money and get in-game gold. If you stop it there, that's at an earlier level, and I think that's even better.
So you think that's even better? I totally agree with the concept of, first off, Batman doesn't instill fear in anyone. They go to
What's
prison.
What's with you and Batman? What is this?
He's such a stupid fuck. I fucking hate Batman.
Chad, what is this? What's going on here?
He's supposed to be a genius, right? He's like the smartest one, right?
Okay.
He captures bad guy that he could kill, puts him in prison. They sit in prison for like 3 months, get back out and kill millions more people, and then he captures and puts them in prison, and they get out and kill people, and it's a round and round and round and round. If you're fucking smart, kill them. Finish them. He's the only superhero that has the ability to kill his minions or his bad guys or whatever, and he never does it. And so Batman is
so funny.
Batman is directly responsible for millions and millions of deaths.
Okay, interesting. I mean, Judge Dredd. Do you like Judge Dredd? Is that because that's what he does?
Hey, there we go. Judge Dredd. Yeah, kill him. Kill them all.
Got it. Got it.
So I'm like, he ain't instilling fear in anyone. The same people keep breaking out of prison and committing the same crimes over and over again. And this fucking moron who's supposed to be a genius goes, oh, I'll just do the same thing over and over again. He's an idiot. Batman's a fucking idiot. I hate Batman.
Okay, all right. Judge Dredd it is. He's judge, jury, and executioner. So okay.
Yeah, there you go. But I agree with the concept of instilling the fear in buying the gold, but I still worry about the fact that the gold gets put into the economy.
Well, bro, they can eat. I mean, they have. I think they have the ability to remove it. They can control. They can track gold from creation to destruction.
What if I buy gold and then immediately go to the auction house and buy something, and so now that it's done, it's on, somebody else had it, and they worked hard for that.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
At the point of, transaction or something like that, or they remove gold in some other way from the guy's account somehow. So I get what you're saying, and I agree with you that I wouldn't want them to retroactively screw you.
Yes.
If you don't know if you're buying a sword that was made with ill-gotten gains.
You're selling.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
selling.
Exactly.
You don't know who's
Right.
buying from you. It's just
Right.
that you put it on the auction house and boom, it comes out, you know? And
Yep.
so that's where I'm, you know, where you have those problems. And, you know, like Squatch just says, well, they can roll the offender back and replace the items. Well, what if I've already
Well,
bought something with the
yeah,
money that I
right.
got from selling the thing and now you're rolling back 3 people or whatever. And so to me, I'm
but
like,
that's also
if-
steps down the road too. That's
Yeah.
that's when they've you know, they so I'm the gold buyer. I go give my money on, you know, some pay to win third party website. I get the gold and then I go and I start spending it. I mean, there could be some time in between there. You know, they know the gold seller. So at the time of transaction, they could be like, oh, look, this person is initiating a trade with this person. And so when it flags the account and the GMs that they're hiring per server can look and be like, oh, okay, perfect. As soon as that transaction happens, you know, the trade where it's 0 for 1 million gold happens.
Yeah.
Then they're like, okay, banned right there.
Right. And don't
Make
get
an
me wrong,
example of him,
I
hang his character.
Right. And I do get that part of it. Like if the data gathering apparatus is that good that they could ban somebody as soon as they buy gold. Like you swiped your
Well,
credit
they
card.
have known gold sellers,
Right,
right? They can
right.
just follow those guys.
Right. And then that's what you do. But that was the main thing that I wanted to present to you, was just to see if you had considered that they don't even have to go as far as the honeypot. They could just ban the gold. Like, to me, it also like hurts the gold sellers more because it hurts their bottom dollar, because now they got to pay another $15 for a subscription. They got to spend how many ever hours leveling up their character to get up to the point where they can make enough money to sell, you know, all of that stuff. Like, you're really hurting the gold selling industry. But I will say that the one big thing that I massively agree with you on that video, the original video on the botting video, is that Ashes of Creation is, by my calculation, the only MMO that's ever tried to stop this.
Yep.
Like
they care. That's
they
it.
care.
They care.
Yes. That
Who else cares?
No one.
Because Blizzard doesn't care, because the botters are paying subscriptions. They're like, oh no, that's fine, leave them. I mean, it's $15 a month for us.
Yes.
So yep, leave it, because it's money for us.
Right. And I mean, I think in general that's what they do. Like, I don't understand why the New World, like in New World, the guy was reporting the fisherman, the fishing bot, and it's like, they already got your $40.
Yep.
Why not ban the fuck? Just, if it's been reported over and over and over again, just ban the fucking bot and move on. But they don't ever want to. And like you said, it seems like they just don't care.
So did you? So my Lord of the Rings video, it's really where I talk about how the Lord of the Rings MMO made by AGS is doomed. It's really just an indictment of AGS, and I actually talk about the reporting system a lot more in that video, and it has to do with bots a little bit, but their reporting system was terrible. And so I don't think AGS, even if they wanted to, could have gone through and handled any kinds of bots, because their whole apparatus, the way that they had everything set up, wasn't good at all. So, I mean, even if they had wanted to, which who knows if they wanted to, they wouldn't have been able to do anything about it.
Right. There does seem to be like just a malaise of just competence, just like incompetence, just like hovering over that studio with everything they do. So like every decision they make is wrong. I'm like, the law of averages would say eventually you make a good fucking decision, man. But it seems like they can't do it, man.
Bro, anytime they got close in their design to Ashes just a little bit, you know, the territory system, I heard you talking to Vladis about that last night, any kind of Sand Park-iness that they would get, that was the only part of the game that was good. Everything else that was on their own merits, their own ideas, absolutely trash.
Yeah, right. And that's, I did a video about the difference between territory wars and node wars, node sieges, castle sieges, like all of that back, you know, way back when New World was fairly new. And man, did I get trashed by the New World people. They all came in there and, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well, how are them node wars working out for you now? Or territory wars working out for you now? Did you stick around with that game? So yeah, it's strange that they've had like such a, I don't know. You want to think multi-billion-dollar company could afford to buy competence, but I don't know. Is it just like the Peter principle gone amok?
They have, dude. So you're a college football fan, Ohio State, right?
Yeah.
So they are the USC of the West Coast, right? So USC under Clay Helton, right? So Clay Helton was their head coach a few years ago. Zero vision, but would go out and get the best talent. They would wow all these high school players. Hey, come out! It's USC. Look, remember the Pete Carroll days? We got all these great things going on, and they'd attract all the best players. They were a talent sink for the region, essentially. Yeah. And then they would go 7-5. Ready to serve. Right. And they would just get trashed. I mean, they get trashed by my Utah Utes. They still get trashed by my Utah Utes. But like. They had talent, but no vision. And AGS, we know some of the people.
Right,
I mean,
like Bacon.
Bacon. Yeah. Bacon went to AGS. So they have talent. They have smart people. What AGS offers is stability. I mean, the AGS budget from Amazon is $500 million per year. $500 million per year. There's only been one leader fired that whole time. Jeff Frazzini or Mike Frazzini, sorry. Yeah. So it just atrocious. Anyway, so they have talent, they have no vision. And all these exposés have come out later from people who quit, and they said the problem was we would get in these meetings and we would talk with the leadership, and the leadership would love to hear affirmation. They wouldn't want us to argue with them and say, hey, let's make the game better. They just wanted, hey, we're doing a good job. Let's keep going ahead and supporting the leader's terrible vision or lack thereof. Whereas, you contrast that with Intrepid, Steven literally has to tell his devs, I am not my design ideas. My design ideas are not me. I mean, huge juxtaposition.
It's so funny that you brought that up, and that he said that. I do that to myself. Like, I'm always attacking my own ideas. Whatever, like if I've made a video and I stated something in a video a while back or whatever, I guarantee you I've thought about that since then. I've attacked that idea since then. I've tried to see if I can break that idea since then. I'm always attacking my own ideas. And I have found in general, just this is not an AGS thing or a Blizzard thing or whatever. I found just in general, humans do not like to do that. They do not like to attack their own ideas, to be told no, to anything like that. They want words of affirmation, like you just said. Like, yeah, tell me I'm doing great. Tell me I'm doing great. And very few people. By the same token, I don't know if you've noticed this. I definitely noticed this making content. I have a bunch of friends, right? And I mean, I don't have a bunch of friends, but I have friends. And I'll come to them and I'll be like, look, I'm not looking for you to tell me that this is good. I want you to tell me what you actually think about it. Like my content, right? I'll show them a video before I release it. What do you think? And I have a few.
Like we've done that. We've done that with each other several times.
Yes. And I have a few who will say, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that, or this section or whatever was not as good. Magic. Who was that?
Magic Pipe?
Magnificent. Yeah, Magic Mike. I appreciate the subscription, man. Really do.
Magic Pipe's one of my homies from New World. He was one of the OG llamas.
Okay, nice. Yeah, he's been in my streams quite a bit lately. So yeah, awesome. Thank you, man.
The man.
But anyways, I have a few friends who'll say something, but almost all my friends will be like, yeah, great, wonderful, send it out. And I'm like, I actually want you to tell me what's wrong with this. And it's like most people are just like, no, I'll just chill. I'm not gonna tell you what I actually think, and I've always found that to be kind of strange. But
dude, you just told me on my last video with the dopamine, you're like, hey, yeah, that topic. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. The topic by now have broad appeal, and you were dead right.
Yeah. I've been doing it.
I'm glad I made the video. Still, I'm glad. I don't regret making the video, but it didn't have a wide audience at this point.
Yeah. No, I think that you didn't. Did you couch that in Ashes? Like, was it like? Were you using Ashes in like the tags and stuff like that, or was that purely
no?
Just
so
MMO?
Yeah, I intentionally wanted to see if I didn't include Ashes in the tags I didn't have it as because when you upload a video, it says what video game is this about. I at first initially did not say it was about Ashes because I also kind of wanted to test. Like, let's say I'm putting out a video, does it have to be Ashes for it to get any play? And turns out the answer is yes.
Yep. Well, no. So you like repackaged it to be for Ashes?
Then I went back, and since then it's been gaining in views.
Okay. And I will say that that's the type of video that will just, like, if you leave it outside of the Ashes bubble, it would gain views over a long period of time. It would keep going because I'm sure you've noticed this with very few exceptions. You got about 48 hours in Ashes to get all the views you're going to get. That's
true.
it. It just dies.
Yeah. Yep.
So I actually have been considering, and I keep wanting to do it, but then I'm kind of like, I know it's going to get like 900 views if I do it, but I have ADHD. I've grown up with it my entire life. My daughter actually just got diagnosed with it, which, like, I didn't need the lady to tell me that she had ADHD. I fucking knew already. And I want to take what you said about that and kind of do a response video or I don't know if a response, or just use it as a springboard or whatever to talk about ADHD and MMOs, and particularly in Ashes of Creation, because I think ADHDers are going to be like flies to honey for this particular game, with the way that it goes. But man, I feel like, like let's say we got 50 people in chat right now. 6 of them are like, hey, I'd watch that video. But I need 40 of them to say that, you know what I mean? So it's hard to put all that time in knowing that it's not going to get viewed by a lot of people.
And I heard you and Vladis talking about views and videos and stuff last night. And I mean, there is, you can't only think about views, but hey, that is affirmation. That is a quantifiable affirmation from people. Oh, hey, this is good because, it's hitting with some certain subset of people like the idea or like what you're talking about in there. Right. And so, yeah, I mean, it is, that is still by most accounts a measure of success. I don't think it's the measure of success. For example, my video with Willie, love talking with Willie. Yeah. However, the effort it took in that video was maybe an eighth of the effort for my dopamine video. However, I'm still glad I made my dopamine video because it's pushing my creative efforts forward. Sure. And I think it's making the channel better for future videos. Sure. Still.
There's a period in my Ashes content creator career that's about the same where you are. You're like 8 months into this thing, right?
Yeah.
8 or 9 months, something like that. Yep. Somewhere in there. And it's about that where I started experimenting. I started going, let's try this, let's try that, let's try this. Yeah. The difference is that for me, that was like the absolute doldrums of Ash's interest. It was right after Alpha 1. Right. Everybody had said, okay, I see what it is. I'm going to go sleep while they cook. And so, I mean, I remember going live on Twitch thinking that it was going to be like it used to be. And I was like scratching and clawing for 12 people. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy compared to what it was just 3 weeks ago.
Dude, it's invigorating. It's encouraging when you see, 50 plus people in chat across both platforms. That's awesome.
Yes, it is awesome. And it is encouraging. And I was telling you earlier backstage that, like, I'm so much more reinvigorated now to make Ashes content. It's that it has come back big time for me, and I'm thinking about videos to make and planning live streams and contacting people and said, hey, you want to come on my stream and stuff, instead of just playing video games and ignoring everything else. Surgeon General, hype. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I was watching you last night fighting a boss in Terra Slam with Roar. So
Zillion, I got to ask you from the data video. So the first third of the video, I talk about the length of Alpha 2, right? I don't think Alpha 2 can last 5 years because nobody will be playing it at the end of it. And they're spending at least, $50 million per year in Intrepid's budget. And not to mention they continue to hire. So how long to you, what do you expect a reasonable time of Alpha 2 to be? And why?
I have thought about this so much, man. I've talked about it on my stream. Obviously, during season 1 of Bespoke, I literally put on the tinfoil hat and talked about my theory that they were looking to launch Alpha 2 in March of 2023. I believe 100% they were hyping to a launch window and something stopped them. I don't know what it is. It could be technical. It could be that they did the calculus in their head and say, hey, look, we can't have a 4-year Alpha 2. Let's develop for 2 more years. So we only have a 2-year Alpha 2. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is, but everything that was happening, like there were a lot of things happening then that are happening now, like Steven all of a sudden doing AMAs, which by the way, the other time he all of a sudden started doing AMAs was before Alpha 1. So before Alpha 1, he started doing AMAs. Then he randomly did a few AMAs in like August, September, October of 2022, leading into the early part of 2023, and then stopped. And now he's doing AMAs again right before the launch of Alpha 2. So it's like, I feel like something happened there. Now, was that, again, was it technical? Was it a conscious decision? Who knows? I don't think that Ash's Alpha 2 can be that long. It can't. To me, it can't. To me, it can't because you're going to kill the mystique. Like I'll give you an example. Tell me what the point is of Steven withholding lore to the nth degree. Like pulling lore out of that guy is like, squeezing coal and getting diamonds out of it. It's not going to happen, right?
Sure.
What's the point of that if we're going to be in Alpha 2 for 3 years and every bit of the lore is just going to be out there for everybody? We're going to know the entire lore.
True.
There's going to be entire channels that are dedicated to telling the lore of the game. If the game, I'll tell you this right now. I personally know a guy who said, if this game is not voice acted, he's going to go around and collect all the not audio, but the text of all the quests or the major quest arcs or whatever, and get together and like create videos telling the story with voice acting of what's happening in Ashes of Creation. So it's like,
cool.
How can you have a 3-year Alpha 2 and be trying to protect the mystery? The mystery is going to be out. And I mean, the reality is mystery is going to be out in 6 months. And maybe that's the calculus that they made, was just like, there's no holding back the mystery. So whatever, we'll just have Alpha 2 last as long as it lasts. I will say this. I think that there's a strong possibility that by December, we will have an idea of how long we're going to be in Alpha 2.
Based on the cadence of release for new content.
E-Raj, thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Eric Coakley says, I think A2 launch will equal the time from A1 to A2. So 3 years between. And that's really not a bad guess, because when you really think about it, Ashes of Creation development didn't really begin in earnest until 2020. Before that, it was a lot of ideation, planning, back-end creation, a lot of that stuff, and the actual development of it, was 2020. So that would give you 7, 8 years of development, which is typical for an MMO.
Sure.
So, I could see it being 3 years. I've number one, obviously,
my biggest question though, dude, is who's going to be playing it? We're all in chat, and if we're just playing it to this limited extent, very slow, because I mean, think about it, bro. Over 3 years, there's a decent amount of content that they still would have to release to us. So we know we're going to be getting the Rogue in the first content expansion. Okay, we get the Rogue, we get the Summoner, and then we know other systems are going to be coming online. So there's going to be sieges will come online, naval will come online, different node types will come online. So all these things come online. But at what point does that, and then augments will come online. At what point do the valleys in between those, is it worth it for Intrepid to keep running this Alpha 2 test?
Yes.
I think the biggest problem is going to be like excitement with it and getting players back, because you look at so many failed MMOs and how long their testing took. That's why I talked about all those failed MMOs, and the common thread of them at the beginning of that video was that they had these lengthy testing, drawn out phases. So I'll be really interested to see exactly like what you're saying, the hints of when we're getting content updates. My guess is, it's every 3 months or whatever. So we play 3 months, we get the rogue, we play 3 months, we get the summoner, and then they keep adding more in-game systems. I would say my guess is somewhere between 18 months to 2 years. I think they release MMOs typically release in fall, and so maybe September, 2026, maybe, but maybe sooner. So I just don't. And also the developer tools. In the data video towards the end, I talked about how all of the developers love that Steven is allowing them to make tools, because they're making the molds to make the action figures. Right. They're not making the action figures by hand. They're because they're going to have so much content they need to put out. And in fact, Steven said, he's like, well, the first zone, because remember Narc and the Doomium of, there's only the Riverlands exist, nothing else exists. It's like, dude, that's so stupid. Like, Steven, so then Steven actually says in the Discord, he's like, no, so the first biome is the hardest to make, because we have to make the tools to make the things in the biome. Right. And now that we have these tools, we have the mold, and we can start pressing all the different action figures for the collection. Right. And so production will speed up. Production it's not going to take 6 years from launch of Alpha 2 until we get launch of the game. Unreal Engine 7 is on the horizon, before the game launches. That's unrealistic. There is a window of opportunity there, and I know Steven knows that.
Right. And that's one of the best points you make in that video, is that Steven has to know that to launch this game when it's relevant. And you showed the video of Steven saying exactly that. Like, there's a small window. It's not really small, but there is a window. There's a limit. There's a time limit of when that's going to be where you've gone past the point of you. Now, like, I released a video called "The Only Modern MMO Ever Made," and it was about the fact that Ashes of Creation was going to be the only MMO that's ever released on a modern engine, because they take so long to make. And now you got a couple other ones that may not even end up being the case. And then of course, if Ashes of Creation gets delayed a long time, they could not be.
Right. Seriously.
At all.
Right. It could be a retro MMO if they take too long.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And so you don't want to do that. But just in general, So I've been dead wrong about the Alpha 2 date for 3 years in a row. Like, for 3 consecutive years.
I think everyone has been.
No, I've known a lot of people who've been like, nah, bro, this is a long way off. And I didn't realize, there was a lot of things I didn't realize, because I really started following the game heavily in that late 2020, early 2021 window, kind of in the lead up to Alpha 1. So to me, like, my entire experience with the game had been like this ramp, right? Because it was just big testing, Alpha 1. And I was like, oh, here we go to the moon, baby. And then... And then, it just, it cratered as hard as it could possibly crater.
Sure.
And, so that was obviously like, that killed me. So, but that was my experience with the game. And so I didn't have the right perspective. So now I almost feel like I'm overcompensating for the fact that I didn't have the right perspective. Because now I just want to go, well, I think Alpha 2 should be like a year and a half. So it's probably gonna be 3 years. You know what I mean? Just because of my Alpha 2 experience. But my rational brain wants to say, Intrepid is not. This is what I'm looking. And man, guys, I want to be clear here that I'm talking out of my ass here. Like, I'm doing the best I can. Okay, I don't know, but if I'm Steven, I'm sitting down in this room and I'm going, okay, if we launch Alpha 2 right now, in March of 2023, we're going to launch it with the Riverlands and the Riverlands only into level 15 and only these 4 archetypes. And it's going to be a month 2 to 2.5 months in between each of those things being released as we go along, okay, do we want to for servers and how much more active the GM staff, the community staff, and all that stuff would have to be for Ashes of Creation for testing for all of that time? And you go, what you do is you say, hey, look, let's get most of this stuff done. Not done, not polished and ready and out the door, but let's get it all really far along so that we're literally dropping new content into Alpha 2 every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks, we're dropping new stuff in. We're testing, we're dropping, we're testing, we're dropping. It's testing, not everybody come play Ashes of Creation. It's testing.
Sure. Okay.
And every time we tried the corruption system, everybody killed each other and tested the corruption system and saw what it was like. And they said, okay, yeah, this is great. Okay, corruption system, move off to the side, drop in augments. Okay, we're testing, you know what I mean? Like something like that, where it's like, obviously augments would probably be a longer testing phase, but where you're not trying to be in testing and specifically paying people to test things over the course of a month and a half or 2 months or 3 months, because that's, development cycles are long.
Yeah.
Things that the testing could be done in 5 days of gameplay. If you have 100,000 people, let's say you have 40,000 people. Let's say almost nobody shows up. Let's say you have 15,000 people testing the game on a single server. You don't need to test nodes and how they level for that long. You turn up the speed just like they did in Alpha 1 so that they level fast. You test them out. It works. They all level. You do it with different races and they all take their racial identity based, and you're like, okay, great. We move on. And you're not paying. Servers are expensive, bro. Do you know how expensive servers are?
Nope.
They're expensive. And if you think about 50,000 people.
Well, dude, and how many, so it's not going to be 10,000 players on an Alpha 2 server at the beginning of Alpha 2, because that's what they want to have concurrent, right? At launch, they want to have 10,000 concurrent players per server. They're going to have 15,000 players who can register to be on that server. But with Alpha 2, it's going to be less because it's a smaller population. It's a smaller playable area, right? And so they're going to have multiple servers.
Right.
And they're going to have many more servers than what they would, relative for that population than at launch.
Right. It's crazy. I keep coming back to that. That's like the thing that I'm trying to stretch out my own logic. I'm trying to attack my own ideas. I'm trying,
okay.
And I keep coming back to, would they want to pay for testing with these long development cycles between patches? Because that's what it would be. If they don't have a lot of this game ready to bring online,
right?
We're looking at months in between. And it's like, you don't need to test this stuff for months and months and months. The player base is going to crawl all over every single inch of everything there is. As soon as you put it in the game, we're going to go crazy. We're all going to go ham. We know it. We already know this. So that is what I have gotten back to, keep going back to. And then of course, one of the big arguments to that is if you're really just testing, it's not going to be 50,000 players. It's going to be 5,000 players. And then maybe you do need and also you don't need a bunch of servers. It could be just one server for the 5,000 players. But like Squatch just said, MMO players eat up content fast, and it's the truth. It's the truth. There's no doubt about that.
And like what Vale said, Margaret's like, hey, we show you guys 10% of what we have. If you go back, because for a lot of my videos, I rewatch old streams fairly frequently. Mm-hmm. If you rewatch the things that they've shown in the past, we haven't seen a lot of those things since then. Right. it's been 6 years since we've seen. There was this forest dungeon that they were showing. I'm working on a video right now about dungeons for Ashes, and we haven't seen that dungeon yet. It's been so there are so many things that are done that have been ignored by the community, but it's like, hey, because we're so far removed from that doesn't mean they don't still have those assets. Now, granted, they had to take a bunch of stuff from Unreal Engine 4 to 5, but still the ideas, the framework, all that stuff is there.
Right. No, I agree. It, like the system we're showing the roads as they develop between.
Oh
nodes,
yeah.
That was like
Love
an
that
8
one.
minute video or something like that, like a pretty short little snippet of a stream, and we haven't seen a bit of it since then. It's like that could be done. I mean, they had a pretty good working version of it. Was it 2.5 years ago or something like that?
Dude, and that was just another example of a developer tool, right? I mean, they are creating the molds so that they can just keep stamping all the action figures. I don't think I would be very surprised if Alpha 2 lasts more than 2 years.
That's kind of where I am. I could see 2 years, but beyond that would shock me pretty. I would be very surprised if it's more than 2 years. So I got you. I'm with you. We're kind of simpatico on that, but I think that they are looking for a shorter testing phase than a lot of people think. Could be wrong. I was wrong about Alpha 2 for 3 years. So yeah, you're like, don't listen to me. So I'm gonna put you in the same hot seat I put Vladis in yesterday. Could you explain to my audience in 5 minutes or less, but in detail so that they understand it, server meshing? Exactly what is server meshing?
Yeah, I mean, you're using multiple servers to cover each other essentially. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. You know, I watched the Star Citizen thing about it, and I've watched a couple YouTube videos since they've talked about it. But they multiple servers that they have interact with one another for performance reasons, but beyond that, I mean, whatever. We all know why we're excited for Friday, and it's not about server meshing. We're excited for Friday because that is a somewhat boring topic where the topic can be swept aside because the announcement of the month for Alpha 2, I think, is going to come on Friday.
Oh, you're going out on a limb right now. You're saying we're looking at the month.
I think they tell us September. On Friday, they say, hey, do whatever you need to. We're going to give you a date as it gets closer, but September. And then I think we all know it's September 30th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time.
11:59. I'm telling you August 22nd or 26th.
Because is that when someone's what's the deal with that again?
That's when the War Within launches. The WoW expansion.
Oh yeah, that's right. So they can go into the prison and punch the biggest guy in the prison.
Yes, exactly that. No, I that's not my official prediction. I just if it were me, that's what I would do.
Sure.
I would do August. I think it has the double benefit of you punch the biggest guy in the prison, and you also you act like you're not afraid of them, but then you use the fact that they are way bigger than you to your advantage because they're going to take away a lot of the Alpha 2 testers, and then you avoid the server load. So
server load, exactly like what Eroge said there. Yep, 100%.
Yes, exactly.
That's why launch needs to be on a Tuesday at 2:59 a.m. Pacific time, or actually no, Pacific time would be bad. That'd be 5. So it needs to be Eastern time.
If they want to do it that way, here's the way to do that. If you don't want to do that, I want to compete with WoW and punch the biggest guy or whatever. Here's what you do. This is very simple. How many people watch the live stream on a monthly basis?
Like during the live stream is what, 7,000 to 10,000, somewhere like that, and then afterwards. During the live stream?
During the live stream, 3,500 to 4,500 people, unless the topic is a banger.
Okay, sure.
It's like 4,000. The average has got to be 4,000.
Sure.
So we watch the live stream. Let's say at the end of August, we watch the entire live stream. We go all the way through. It's about the bard, or the bard, and they're telling us what the bard is going to be. And then at the end of the live stream, they go, "Okay, Alpha 2's live."
I mean, honestly, like what does hype get them right now, right?
Banged out servers and streamers coming over and getting ganked on stream and pissing off and quitting the game and saying fuck that game, and their whole community saying I don't really see a huge benefit to a bunch of hype. Right. But I wasn't even talking about the hype part of it. I'm just talking about the initial rush of people onto the servers would be almost entirely mitigated. Yeah, those 4,000 people, or the of those 4,000 who have Alpha 2 would rush, but everybody else will be at work. trying to get home,
Yeah.
making stuff for the kids, doing baths, helping out with homework, like whatever. And so like your login would be trickling all day long, and you would avoid that like crazy rush. So I mean, if you want to do it with like just a surprise time, just be like, oh, yeah, you want to do it now? Okay, yeah, let's do it now. The servers are live. It's just
And here's the thing: they will when like for the betas, they will test that will be their stress test, right? So it's not like they need to practice stress tests right now because that's what the betas are for.
Right. Well, you gotta you need a stress test. You need a stress test to make sure that you can handle your stress test. Like I think they they need to they need to hit the servers hard. Several times between now and then, but I think every update will do that. Dude.
Yeah, I as
sweep
well.
all this aside. Hold on. Sweep all this stuff aside, okay?
Okay.
Imagine the day they patch secondary archetypes into the game. Into Alpha 2.
Yep.
Imagine the day they patch augments into Alpha 2.
Yeah.
Imagine the day they patch naval content into Alpha 2. Like that. The hype is going to do this already.
They
They're
might even
hit those
piecemeal
servers
the
over and
naval
over
stuff,
again.
though.
Do I?
I don't know if they do. They might even piecemeal the naval content. I don't think all of the
Just drop
naval
the whole
content
system in
gets.
at one time.
Yeah, that'd be wild. I'd be surprised.
But that goes back to what I was talking about with the testing, the length of Alpha 2. That's like if they're going to piecemeal. Let's take what you're saying, okay? They're going to piecemeal the naval system. They probably have to piecemeal the augment system. You're not going to drop in 32 augments per ability at one time. Okay. So you put in a piece of the naval system. Do you want to pay for them to test a piece of the naval system that can be tested in an afternoon for the next 3 weeks and pay for the servers and the GM staff and everything you need for those 3 weeks? Or do you want them to test it today and then test it over a week and then put in the next piece and then a week and put in the next piece? I really feel like they have a testing schedule already set out. They're like, we want to do this on September 30th. We're going to test this. And then on, October 7th, we're going to test this.
And they're going to release a roadmap. Like they're going to have an expansion schedule.
Yeah. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Here's a question. How much information about Alpha 2 do you think Steven's going to give when they announce the date of Alpha 2?
Oh, that's such a good question, man. What other info do we get about Alpha 2 when they announce the date of Alpha 2? So Margaret said that they're going to do a whole press release about it, that there's going to be, there will be some information that they send out about it, that they're going to say, I think what to expect, what's going to be on it. But the question is like, do they then tell everyone what the roadmap is, right? How much we're supposed to be expecting as time goes on? I think that comes, but later. I think at first we just get, hey, this is everything that's going to be in there, and then later on we can expect them to be like, okay, next rollout, look for this and this, and so on.
Right. Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I guess I knew that Margaret said there would be a press release because I was watching when she said it, but I didn't I forgot it. I suspect that Steven's going to be pretty cagey about it.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
He'll tell us how many classes we're going to have, what classes they're going to be, what biomes they're going to be, what level we can go to, maybe what dungeons we can expect. That's about it. Like that's
sure.
about the limit of it, right? Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty cagey because I don't think he's going to want to give out that information yet. Because can you imagine if he was like, okay, we expect Alpha 2 to last 3 years. What video are you immediately making? What video am I immediately making? What video is Richie immediately making? You see what I'm saying? And Nice is going to make a like that. That would be pretty negative. So if they're thinking 3 years, I don't think there's any way they say it. Now, maybe on the flip side, what if they have some like crazy aggressive testing schedule and they're like 8 months? If that was the case, I would say it. I would say it.
That would be awesome. True. That's a good point.
8 months, and then Alpha 1 or Beta 1 and Beta 2 is going to last 3 months. We're launching in 12 or 13 months or whatever.
Dude, that'd be so sick.
Yeah, but I'm not expecting that. I'm just saying, like, if he was, I think he would say it. But I think he's gonna be pretty cagey because they're not gonna want people to know.
Yeah,
they're not gonna want the content creators to go and announce that it's gonna be a 3-year Alpha 2.
And they're going to want to have flexibility in case they run into some, they're obviously going to run into some snags.
Yeah.
They want the flexibility to be able to pivot when that happens.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And they're going to need that to, I would suspect they don't have some target date for release set right now. Matter of fact, I would suspect that they don't have a target date for how long Alpha 2 is going to last.
I think they do. I'd be surprised if they don't. In fact, I think they've even talked about their internal dates and timers before.
Right. But all the way to Alpha 2? Because I would think that how could you possibly predict how much testing you were going to need for any given system?
You're telling me Steven, the guy who uses words like diegetic, doesn't have that stuff, like even like an internal, like, hey, a projection of this happens here, then this happens here, then this happens here.
Steven does. I'm sure that Steven is like, okay, I want Alpha 2 to be out of Alpha 2 by September of 2026. Like, I'm sure, he's got some date, but I'm talking about as a team. I don't see how you.
I think you keep the loop small. Anytime you're trying to keep a secret, you keep the loop small. And so, I think loose lips sink ships. And so they're not going to release some internal memo about, guys, this is what we're thinking. I think there's, between John and there maybe a couple of their senior producers and designers, they kind of have that. Yeah. But beyond that, I don't think because it's a need to know basis, right? If I'm a gameplay engineer, I'm a VFX engineer, what benefit does it do me knowing what the internal timetable is that Steven has?
And I don't think like you said, that like increases the possibility that somebody comes and says something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Planendorf hanging out in our chat. Not that he would ever do it, but what if he was like, what you just wait for September of 2026 or something like that, and then all of a sudden everybody goes crazy talking about it. So I can see that. I like Vale's comment. Steven is a GM. He has a plan A, B, C, and D, and I'm sure of that. Yep. I'm quite sure that he's got all the plans, and he's thought about different ways it could go, kind of like a chess player. I'm sure that he's done that, and I hope he has, and I'm hoping that Alpha 2 is not going to be 3 years. I think 3 years is too long. So,
yeah, I just don't think they'll have the players to make it worth their time. I mean, they're going to give Alpha 2 keys out to creators, and but I don't know how many. They said it's going to be on the size of their audience. Don't know how they judge that. So it's going to be interesting to watch as things go on. I think the next few months will be incredibly revealing because, compare the last 3 years to the next 3 months.
Yeah. Yep.
I think we're at a precipice. I think on Friday we find out more than we've known for a long time about Alpha 2.
Interesting.
That's my guess.
I want to point out that if you make Ashes of Creation content, you have the exact same audience as me and Dr. Burns and Nice and Richie, and we all have the same 6,000 people. That they may not be sub to you, but look at Moonman LFC getting like 4,000 views on every one of his videos. He's got like 212 subscribers or something like that. We all have the same fucking audience. You can't base anything on audience size because we all have the same 6,000 people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I could, let's say what's a popular game right now. I could make flavor of the month videos on a popular game and get, a few thousand subscribers from that.
Yep.
I could make general health videos.
Yep.
And I mean, Dr. Berg has millions of subs, right? I could do stuff like that and grow my sub count, but that wouldn't do anything to advance my Ashes. Like I make content because I believe in the project, because I want to help people understand how special the project is and how special Intrepid is moving forward.
Yes.
And so I'm not necessarily doing it. I mean, I like to have a big audience. I want my ideas to be heard. And then I like getting feedback too. I mean, for better or for worse in the comment section, that's hilarious.
Sure.
So, but like, just making variety stuff I don't think would do me any good. Although You know, I don't know if that's how they're going to judge audiences or not. Whatever they do, it will be an imperfect metric, and we're just going to have to deal with it. And I don't really care too much about it.
I tell people all the time, there's two criteria for being in the content creator program. It's consistency and quality, and I've never had either of them, so I have no expectation of getting into the content creator program. That's what I tell people all the time.
Dude, your stuff is fantastic. Like you have the best takes in the Ashes community, bar none. I mean, Planendorf talks about it. The mic drop moments. It's the Zillion mic drop moments are fantastic, man. I think you are uncanny with stuff like that, and it's nice to have a voice like yours in the community, because it is a kind of an everyman voice, but it's like a mature voice of reason too, which is fun to have. So I'm grateful for the stuff you put out. I think it is quality and your consistency. What's interesting about that, you started forever ago, and I just started recently, and you could consider me, I guess, consistent. Like one video every 2 weeks is my version of consistent, because that's all I can do.
Mine is one every 3 months. I've been really consistent. Like I so badly want to message Margaret and be like, just for the record, one video every 3 months is consistency. a form of consistency. But I better not push my luck with Margaret, so I won't do that. We're not going to go that way. But it's really interesting to hear you talk about making content for other games, because I made a little bit of New World content just because I wanted to make content for a game that exists. But I had no interest in New World, so it went away. And I made a little bit of SWTOR content, a little more SWTOR content than New World. But that was...
Aren't those your most viewed videos? Like the SWTOR ones?
My most viewed video is the Ashes of Creation as a scam video.
Got it.
But other than that, yes. I have several over 20,000 view SWTOR videos. And like... I made just a few videos for a few months. Like I was getting crazy views. And they still get views sometimes. It's crazy.
Right.
But that was very much on purpose. That was I want to prove that I can make content consistently for a game that exists, that I know how to make content for a game that exists. Right. That's what that was all about.
To practice.
To practice and just to show that I could do it. But a video that I have thought about making, and of course you can add this to the pile of videos that I've thought about making over the last 2.5 years. The title of the video would be, I don't want to be a content creator. By the way, if I clickbait all of you guys that are listening right now with this title, because I'm about to give away the ending of the video, you still have to click. you still have to click the video, even though you're going to get the ending of the video right now. But the conclusion of the video is, I don't want to be Ashes. I don't want to be a content creator. I want to be an Ashes of Creation content creator. I can't muster up the give a fuck to make make content for anything else. I have other games that I've played. Like I play Icarus first court. You probably don't even know what it is. I played the crap out of that. I played Valheim. I played V Rising. Like there's Once Humans coming out soon. I'm gonna play the crap out of that, and I'm probably gonna enjoy it. And I probably would be good enough at it and find enough tips and tricks and stuff to make the type of content for it that I want to make for Ashes of Creation, but I cannot muster up the give a fuck to go do it, because it is Ashes of Creation that I am in love with. It is Intrepid Studios that I'm in love with, and that's what we're, that I've hitched my wagon to Ashes of Creation for all intents and purposes. So
that's another Zillion mic drop right there. That is chat. I think we just heard greatness right there, because that is completely agree, man. I don't make content on Civilization 6, which I also play, or Fortnite. I don't talk about my 46% win rate on Fortnite, but like. Which I have. Sorry. I'm gonna stop. So
you just did. I'm just saying.
Because those things don't inspire me. What inspires me is Ashes in Intrepid, just like what you said.
Raj, thank you for the subscription, man. I do appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who subscribes to the channel. It's awesome, you guys. But yes, you're right. We're here for the Ashes of Creation. I'm in for the long haul. I love Droog said, if Intrepid goes down, so do we all. And that's it right there. That's the truth. when I first started my journey with Intrepid and Ashes of Creation, I don't think I would be able to emphatically and comfortably and just matter of factly state that if Ashes of Creation doesn't work out, I'm done with MMOs. I don't think I could have said that. But over the last few years, I've gotten to that point. I'm like, if Ashes of Creation is done, if it doesn't work, or Steven is the multi-level marketing scam artist that like some people say he is, or what, whatever thing that happens that causes this to not work, I think I'm done with MMOs. I'm pretty damn sure I'm done with MMOs. Like, I see everybody playing Terrasland and they're like, it's great, it's fun, it's WoW but not WoW, come play. And I'm like,
zero interest. And so, okay, let's say Intrepid, they say, sorry guys, we ran out of funding, it's over. Maybe I turn my channel into a cautionary channel about the upcoming AGS MMO and telling everyone, all I do is dedicate my channel to how bad that game is because AGS sucks. But even then, I just wouldn't have the inspiration to do it, wouldn't have the gusto, I wouldn't have the motivation, because it's not, that doesn't appeal to me. What appeals to me is creating something unique and awesome, like what Intrepid is doing. They're doing what they are, breaking the mold in so many ways. But they're not doing pay to win. There are so many examples, but that's probably the biggest one. Their design and no pay to win is inspiring so many more people right now. Because I don't play MMOs, you don't play MMOs. We talked about this on Bespoke. That the MMO market is crap right now because they've disconnected themselves from the neurochemistry of what makes MMOs great, and it is inspiring to see that they're bringing back the fundamentals and ideas again to make MMOs great.
No, you're exactly right. What I've found, the more that I dig into the systems of Ashes of Creation, the more I listen to Steven. Have you ever noticed that he always has an answer?
Yeah.
He can get asked about the most random shit about
and it's
the game.
consistent.
Yes. And he'll be like, oh, we've already thought about that. We've thought about the way this didn't work in these other 7 MMOs.
Okay, most recent example, the AMA with the Jamie asking about malicious people coming in to harvest the materials. Steven had thought of people creating alts to do that. And I was like, gosh, I had not thought of that. That wouldn't have crossed my mind for years. And they had already thought about it.
He'd already thought about it. Exactly. It's always like that. He's always already thought about the different permutations, different things that people might come up with, but more specifically, the systems that other MMOs have tried. And he's like, I like what they were trying to accomplish there, but they didn't accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. And every other MMO since then has copied the same system that didn't do what it was designed to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, I'm going to yoink and twist. I'm going to steal, and I'm going to twist it, and I'm going to keep twisting it until it bends to my will, till it does what we're actually trying to accomplish. So the corruption system is an example. People will always be like, oh, other games have had corruption systems. The Lineage 2 had the exact same corruption system. No, it didn't. And there are other parts of Ashes of Creation that loop back into the corruption system. Like, for example, the lack of fast travel. In a lot of these other games, you can kill somebody, go corrupt, and then fast travel the hell out of there and be gone way out of the way. Now you got to walk your happy ass to wherever you want to go, red the whole way you're doing it, right? So you can't just teleport out. So there's like, he's thought about them from every which way, and he's like, I'm going to keep turning the knobs. We're going to keep adjusting those dials until it's right in that sweet spot of like, you can attack someone. It is dangerous. It is risky to be out there, but you're not going to see just people running around griefing and killing people willy-nilly all over the place every day for no reason. Like, they're just trying to find that balance, and once they find it, they're going to stop. And it's that way with every system in the game. Like, he's so consistent with it. I love it.
It is impressive how how much he's thought of that. And there's this false equivalency that I see out there that people who don't really know. So, if you've noticed this, maybe on some old Joe Rogan episodes, or what's that guy's name? Who's the AI, the Russian guy at Harvard? He runs a podcast. Anyways, he does Lex Friedman. It's the false equivalency phenomenon that he's always making. Oh, well, both sides are wrong. Well, everything, where he doesn't actually know enough about what he's talking about. And so he'll just make a false equivalency saying that both sides of some issue are equally wrong or whatever, and just assuming that it's equal like that. But it's like, no, when you boil down onto certain issues, when you actually get enough knowledge on a certain topic, I mean, you can do that in medicine too. When you get enough information on a certain topic, the diagnosis is clear. It is easy to make with the more information you have on it. As we get more information on ashes, as you dive into it and you actually look at the details and see, no, this is different, this is unique because XYZ, then all the people in chat know exactly what we're talking about because they've done that. They've been like, oh, hey, this is different. This is unique. This isn't just, some wild, this isn't Ghost Crawler making project name Ghost where your character name is Ghost and the class that you use is Ghost. That's not what's going on. This is a unique, real project, and it is special. So exactly going back to what you said about with your mic drop, the specialness of the project makes me want to create YouTube videos. I mean, have I ever told you about my old channel?
Oh, you had a different channel? Wait. I thought you were a rookie coming into this thing. You tell me you already played a season?
So
no, hold on. I gotta call the committee. We gotta take your Rookie of the Year trophy back. What the fuck, man?
So I made a YouTube channel about how to get into medical school, and it's kind of like how to get into med school for dummies. Because hey, you go to bed? Okay, I love you.
Oh yeah, give that kid a hug.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, give that kid a hug.
See you in the morning. Hey, can you shut the door, boo boo? I made a YouTube channel about how to get into med school for dummies. And it was, I did fine in school. My GPA was middling, and then I got married, and then I got 4.0. I just got A's after I was married because my wife is awesome, and being married and in school is 10 times easier. Anyways, so I made a YouTube channel about that. I only made a dozen or so videos, but that was... It was fun to do, but it didn't really inspire me.
It wasn't a labor of love.
It wasn't a labor of love. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to get sponsored by Kaplan and by all these different, educational things, and they're going to send me free stuff. And then residency hit the first day. I was like, oh, I'm not doing any more videos on this during the rest of residency. I have zero time.
Oh, that's funny. Well, before we get out of here, man, I want to tell you a quick false equivalency story because it's my favorite one in the ashes space. Okay, so I've done several videos talking about the node system, as have you, and I'm sure you have 26 in the production pipeline of the node videos. And I think you and I both agree it's like a completely revolutionary system, and it's totally new, and it's going to do things that nobody's ever done before, right? I got comments on that video, or more particular one comment, but I've gotten several of these comments that say, oh, node system isn't new. Like ArcAge has nodes. These other games have nodes. And and I'm like, that's such a false equivalency. And so my response to this, and I still love this, it's like my favorite, this might be my favorite mic drop moment, if you want to say mic drops. Saying that other games have nodes is like saying in-dash navigation is 50 years old because a 1974 Mustang had a map in the glove box.
Sure, right, 100%.
It's not the fucking same thing.
Exact same thing, right.
It's not
the false equivalencies, especially from BDO players, blows my freaking mind, man. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I made my breeding system video, because there is not Mendelian genetics in BDO. Right. It is a meshing combining system where things just average.
Right. So it's very different. It's not nearly the same thing. People, even with your video and as popular as that video was, I don't think people have any idea how crazy the animal husbandry system is going to be. That system's nuts.
That's going to be awesome.
People aren't ready for that. Maybe that's the next video. You don't understand animal husbandry. Anyways,
True.
So, Dr. Burns, do you want to say anything to my audience, which obviously is also your audience? We already talked about that, but before you get out of here, is there anything you want to say?
Dude, I think it right now is a special period of time. I think Ashes is a special project, and I think the stable of creators that we have, I think, is a special group. And I would just recognize this period of time for what it is. That we have developers who we have, at least to some extent, we have their ear because it's a small enough community. I'd say take advantage of that as much as possible right now. And then also, Steven has made comments on both of our videos.
Yes.
Planendorf makes comments on our videos, and other devs who we probably use other pseudonyms log in. So the comments that people make on videos too also makes a difference. The comments, like you guys, your reactions to our videos as well, and our streams, the stuff that you guys say here helps guide the content that gets made. Even just clicking on a video or not clicking on a video helps guide the stuff that gets made. So I think we're in a special time right now. I'm grateful for all the help and support. I think everyone's been more than accommodating for me in my my bloviating. They say a physician is always sure and sometimes right, and I try to embody that in my videos, and so I think I try to be as much like Zillan as possible, and so. Just going full steam ahead with whatever I think, and then I can ask for apologies afterwards if I screw something up. So grateful for all the help, and I think Zillan, a prime example of the Ashes community, right? Like I had hardly any subs. Zillan was like, "Hey, your titles suck. Fix your titles." Vladis was like, "Hey, your thumbnails suck. Fix your thumbnails." Yeah, and it just fantastic people, and we're all making each other better right now. So I'm grateful. I recognize it would be a false equivalency, Zillan, to say, hey, every pre-launch is like this, because it's not. This is a special group, a special period of time, and I'm just grateful for it. I'm happy to be here. I try not to be the kid who just smiles in the corner, just looking around. I'm happy to be here, but really, that's what it is.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Well, this has been awesome. I've loved having you on here. And like I said earlier, I believe it to be the truth that when you and I get together on stream, it's best in slot. It's absolutely this. That's just how it is. So I'll absolutely have you on another time. And if you ever want me to hop over on your channel and do anything, obviously I'll do that. To the chat, all the follows today. We were in the middle of watching some videos. I didn't get to catch every single follow, but I appreciate everybody who followed, and obviously the people who subscribed. You guys are awesome. We pretty much love and appreciate and respect all of you guys for everything you do for us, because without you guys, like, this wouldn't be worth it. Then that's proven out. Like, so many content creators have dropped out because you guys weren't there, but now you guys are there, and we really appreciate it. And you make it all worthwhile. So thank you.
Can I drop a future video?
Drop it. Shit.
Okay. So I'm working on a video right now of I'm just going to be talking about the dungeon system in Ashes and how it is different, what actually makes it unique compared to other games, and how it's not just going to be a gang fest. And then I've got one that video is probably next, and the one slightly after that one is Ashes of Creation isn't going to be the WoW killer. It's going to be the WoW savior.
Oh, look at you. My mind immediately went, how did you say that? And I was already coming up with ways where that might actually be the case. Cause that's how it is. I love it. So we got dungeon videos coming out. We got Ashes of Creation is going to save WoW. That's a hot take. That's a hot take right there. So you guys definitely, Rimnir says, fuck. Well, I know I'm watching that video. Oh, that's really funny. That is perfect. So yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm excited to watch him, as I'm sure everyone in chat is. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here, guys. Again, thank y'all so much for the stream. I will be live Wednesday at 1:00 Central Standard Time, and Wednesday and Thursday technically. And I'm on the process of getting together 2 new guests for next Sunday and Monday night. So we'll have 2 more guests and we'll challenge their ideas and talk about Ashes Creation and speculate on the Alpha 2 date and be wrong about it. Thanks, y'all.